Today we're jumping off a new series about rest and the entrepreneur. And I like to call us chronically capable entrepreneurs because we chronically get out there and do the work. We chronically get out there and help everybody else. And then we forget to take care of ourselves. And I truly believe that rest is what makes it possible to build a simple and sustainable business that makes an impact and generates income. Because if we are not approaching work from a place of rest, we struggle. We run out of creativity. We run out of physical and mental energy. And so we're going to be diving into the different types of rest that we need as a whole person. And that rest is way more than just sleep. And for me, this is a lesson that I've had to learn the hard way. I left my last corporate job totally and completely burned out because I had been working 10, 12-hour days, often working 6 days a week, coming in over the weekend, trying to get myself caught up to the point where I wouldn't be overwhelmed and drowning on Monday. And the support I got in the process was not nearly enough. It got to the point where I was feeling like the stress was physically killing me and that I was starting to have some health issues and some mental health issues because of all the hours that I was putting in. And no matter what I did, I could not get ahead. More demands put on my plate. It was one of the catalyst moments for me that moved me from corporate world to entrepreneurship. Along with everything that was going on in my family, and I needed to be more available for them, the stress levels of my job, which prompted me to look at, this is now time to pursue entrepreneurship. I need that flexible schedule. I need that ability to not have to commute back and forth to work. The problem is that I was still so stuck in that work mode and that overwork mode that I brought that over to my business. And soon I realized that all I did was replicate that job in my business. I created a stressful work environment. Again, I was working long hours. I didn't have proper boundaries. I was working from home. I had set up an office in my kitchen. So I was right there with the dirty dishes and the laundry and everything that needed to go on in the home. And I didn't have the boundaries I needed to separate the two and have different approaches to different parts of my life. And I started to burn out. And then as family members started to have health issues and I needed to be more available for them, doctor's appointments or traveling to take care of someone, which was, again, one of the reasons I started my business. I was happy to do it. But still, I was creating a job for myself, not a business that made an impact, not a business that was simple and sustainable. And so I did take the long way around to learn about rest and entrepreneurship. And it's a journey I'm not done with. I am still learning what does it look like to rest as an entrepreneur, especially now as a 50-plus entrepreneur. Rest looks different for me now than it did 10 years ago or back in 2008 when my business started. And so we also need to look at our lives and our entrepreneurship journey in seasons and what type of rest do we need now that maybe we didn't need last month or even last year. And so we're going to be looking at the different types of rest. Some of this is inspired by Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith, and I highly recommend you check out her book, Sacred Rest. I'll have a link to it in the show notes. She is the one that opened my eyes to the different types of rest that we need and understanding what are these different types of rest. And in her book, she actually lists out 8. For me, that was too complicated, so I needed to simplify it. And I've been approaching rest from a place of mental rest, emotional rest, spiritual rest, physical rest, and resting from work. Because as I said in the beginning, I truly believe that rest is what makes it possible to build and design a simple and sustainable business that makes an impact. And we have to do that. We have to approach our work from a place of rest. One of my favorite quotes is by the artist Banksy. And he said, "Learn to rest, not quit." And that's very hard for us as entrepreneurs. We are go-getters. We are people who want to go get things done. We want to serve our people. We want to learn new things. We want to try new things. And so when we get to the point where we are an information overload or just life and business feel overwhelming, our first idea is usually either to keep going and push through or shut down completely and just curl up in a ball and hide from the world. And that's not a healthy place to be. And it's my natural response too. I have taught myself over the years how to be a workaholic, how to work multiple jobs, how to try to get ahead in the business world. I learned how to do that. And it has been a lifelong journey ever since then to unlearn that workaholic tendency. So as we look at our need for rest, there are a few things I would like you to consider as we move forward into these new episodes. You are the most important asset of your business. Whether you are actually doing the work and serving your clients, coaching the clients, you are the marketer, you're the bookkeeper, you're the visioneer, you're the thinker. You are doing a lot. Whether you outsource a lot of that or not, you are still the one who's coordinating everything. You are the core of your business. And so that makes you the most important asset of your business. And you're an asset that's worth protecting. You would look at assets of your business, whether that's a website or your email marketing list or your savings or the investments that you've made to improve your business. Those are all assets of your business. And you work on them and you nurture them and you try to grow them. But guess what? You are just as important asset as everything else. In fact, I think even more important. And a lot of times our care and our nurturing and our maintenance takes bottom last on the list, where it needs to be a top priority. Because rest is an action step. It's not an afterthought. It's not when you have time. It is an action step. And it's not something you've done when you've checked everything off of your to-do list. You can sign out of your office and go do something else. Rest should be a part of your day. And we're going to be taking a look at that. What types of ways you can rest throughout your day or throughout your week or your month so that it becomes a habit. It comes built in to your schedule so that you know when you're hitting your capacity or you're anticipating that the next few days are going to be pretty rough and busy. So I need to plan for that and how to rest. At the end of each week, I ask the gals in my mastermind, how are you planning to rest this weekend? And that is a part of our Friday wrap-up ritual. And more than once, they have come back and said, thank you for asking that question, because all I did was create to-do lists of things I wanted to get done or appointments we had or events that we were attending, and I forgot to add rest for myself. And so that's what I'm going to ask you all the time. How are you planning to rest? Now that you've listened to this type of work we're exploring, how are you going to add that into your schedule? How are you going to add that into your day? And we're going to be looking again at mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and learning to work from a place of rest. So I hope you'll continue with me in the next few episodes as we take a closer look at these different types of rest, how they show up in your life. What are some of the signs that you see that maybe this is the type of rest that I need and I need to look at this further. And we need to remember too that rest is not just more sleep. Most of us have a sleep deficit, and just getting more sleep is not the restorative activity that we need to engage in to help us feel better. A lot of times it is a different type of rest. And so we're going to be exploring, what does it mean to be mentally exhausted, emotionally, spiritually, or physically exhausted? And what do we need to refill our tanks, to refill those reserves? And to the point we're not going through the motions of go, 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 and then crash, or go, 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 and push through and then just feel totally exhausted. There is a different way to do business. And that's why I named this podcast Doing Business Gently. This is one of the reasons that learning how to rest, not viewing it as a luxury, but as a necessity, can be life and business changing. If you'd like a place to start, I'd like to invite you to go take my quiz. It's what type of rest do you need quiz. And it's over at itstartswithrest.com/quiz. And it's just going to take you a couple minutes to answer a few questions, and you're going to get a personalized report. Where are you feeling the most depleted right now? And along with a simple practice you could start using today to figure out how to add some restful activities into your day. In the next episode, we are going to take a closer look at mental rest, because most of us are heavily into knowledge-based work. I don't know about you, but I need to put limits on the amount of appointments I have each day, or how much time I spend on Zoom each day, or how much information I consume each day. My brain can get so tired that if I'm not careful, because I'm an idea gal, I love to research. I love coming up with new ideas. I love brainstorming. I love coaching, but it does take its toll mentally. So for me, a lot of times I need mental rest. So what do you need? Go find out and take the rest quiz at itstartswithrest.com/quiz. Come back next week, and then we're going to start looking at these 5 different types of rest. So I hope you'll join me next week as we dive deeper into mental rest.